to be, listening to it and doing all this stuff, but I just haven't had the bandwidth. So I just save all the questions and chats that go with the webinars.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be doing a training with him these next 2 Wednesdays to just do like the 3 most basic privacy security things, which is kind of silly because I have access to the member site where we learn how to do all that, but he's actually putting it together for people that like don't get around to it. And I thought it would also be a good way to learn in a concise way to like be able to help friends or dragon riders or whatever,
Yeah,
you know.
totally.
And it may be that his suggestions are different than yours, so I would run them by you first, I think, just to like, do these seem like good things, or is there a better way or a better thing? But so many people like myself just don't get to it. And so it's just having I can't remember even what the 3 things are. Probably securing your email. I think one is like securing your credit card, so you're never actually using your credit card number online.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the third one was.
For me, I only ever use prepaid credit cards online.
Mm.
That's easy because it's easy to do, and that way, go ahead, take it. There's nothing in there. You can't go anywhere. Why? Because I don't put money on that card unless I'm making a purchase the same day.
So you can
That
do it
and
that, like, you don't have to stock it like at the beginning of the month. Like, you can just do it like, oh, I want to make a purchase. I put the money on the card and then I spend it. I didn't know you could do that.
yeah, that's how I do it.
I didn't know there
'Cause it,
was such a thing.
yeah, it's a very common thing for. It's a very common thing here. I mean, maybe it's not that common.
Is it a
I
debit
feel
card? Is that
it could be. It could be a Visa debit, yeah, or a Mastercard debit, yeah. Sometimes people's bank accounts allow them to have that, where it's like, yeah, this isn't a credit card; it's my bank account. Well, if you don't have the money in the bank, the transaction won't go through.
right?
Right, so go ahead, take it. I don't care if someone takes my credit card number. I don't care. Why? Because there's nothing they can take. I don't have it there. If I need to make a purchase, I transfer from the trust, go across the bridge, convert it into dollars, and then put it into the account. And literally, if it's a day, that's a long time. I'm usually doing it
As part of your
and
purchase.
as part of the purchase. It's like, oh yeah, I gotta go make this purchase. So then I'm just gonna go and sit there, and instead of just having it available on the card, because I don't hold the dollar, right? The largest balance that I've held in the last 5 years, the largest balance that I've held is $1,500, and that's because my rent is like 1,200.
Well, then.
So that's how I do it. And I don't think anybody's credit card should ever go online, like if it's an actual full on credit card.
Well, okay then.
And that's how I handle that.
Yeah. Well, I think what you're doing would probably make what this other thing is, it would make it a moot point.
Some people find, oh, I can't use a prepaid credit card with such and such a service. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, then what I usually do, if that's the case, typically they can do bank payments, like bill payments. So then I'll just do that instead. Oh dear, it's going to take me 7 minutes instead of 30 seconds to make my payment. But that's because I have the mentality of if it's convenient, there's a cost.
Mm-hmm.
and that's usually data.
So do you not use, or do you use, what about when you go to a grocery store and stuff? What do you use there?
I tap on my phone. Click.
You tap on your phone.
Yeah, I've got contactless payment on my phone.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, you know how you can get those debit cards and you can just tap the Interac machine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just do it with my phone instead. And I wouldn't have to carry a wallet or anything stupid like that.
But you have to carry your phone.
That's
That's
okay.
bigger than
There's
a wallet.
no identifiable information on it.
Even though you're
It's just
using it to pay, it doesn't, it's not a, it's got to be connected with your, I thought, uh,
I think what happens, and this is I've shared this before, and people have that kind of like, what? How can you do that? Because it's a digital transaction. Yes, but the device that I'm using to make that digital transaction doesn't have any identifiable information on it. Sure, the account has identifiable information on it. And when I make that transaction, there's a transaction on that account. But I'm not scared about my device being compromised or data being shared from, oh, because I have ShakePay on my Apple device. ShakePay, it's an app. Makes it super convenient for me to make a payment. But this phone, this doesn't have any identifiable information on it. The only identifiable information that's on it is the app's account, right? But none of the other data gets attributed to that person.
but isn't the fact that that data is attributable to the person, doesn't that identify it to you because you're using the ShakePay account?
Sure. And then I destroy the phone and get a different phone and put in, like, it's my life is not attached, like my digital life is segregated from my banking life. Like the information that's on my computer, that's not barely I don't think I have any of it on my phone at all.
Yeah, I don't
Can't think
either.
I can't think of anything that's on my computer that's on my phone. What's on my computer, I would never put on my phone. The phone is the weakest link. The phone
Yeah,
is the
oh, I get
surveillance
that.
device.
I get that. I'm just trying to figure my way out of.
If I use a debit card, like a
Mhm.
like the plastic debit card, and I tap, right? That's a con the we call it tap up here. I don't know what it's called down there, but
Mhm.
contactless, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Right.
same. Like from a data perspective, it doesn't matter what means I use to make that transaction. The data is the same.
Right.
So I don't mind using my phone because there's no identifiable information on it other than that app, and the transaction itself doesn't look different online whether I use the physical card or if I just tap it.
Right.
So I'm not concerned about that transaction being attributed to the data on my phone. Why? Because my phone doesn't have any other identifiable information. What are they going to go and look at? What game I have installed? Okay. Like
So ShakePay is a what? ShakePay is a wallet? Is a
ShakePay is both an exchange and a bank. So they're kind of like Old Glory. You can put in dollars and you can do an exchange and for cryptos, and then you can probably send, I haven't seen it, but I would imagine that once you have those in crypto, you can send it off to a non-custodial wallet. That's basically what ShakePay is, but it's an app. It's not a brick and mortar bank.
and that's not attached to your ID in any way, the ShakePay?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got to sign up and, take a picture and, put up the like picture ID and all that stuff.
So I'm not challenging you, I'm just trying to get it.
It's it
Why is that not an identifiable thing on your phone? Like, why does that not connect to your ID on your phone?
it would
I get that
be
your phone
like,
isn't connected to your ID, but doesn't that ShakePay account connect to your ID?
yep, yep, but there's no greater surveillance being implemented on the person than if I were to use
The card?
the card. Yeah. It's like, oh, there's a transaction on the account. Okay, you know, I don't use cash because I know that cash is where, like, we're going cashless whether we like it or not. And so knowing that even if we were keeping cash, I wouldn't keep the dollar. Why? Because every single day you hold it, it goes down in value. So I don't hold it. So I want the dollar to go digital so that I have more lateral movement in and out of the banking system. If I got to go get cash, oh, what a hassle. And the cash goes down in value every single day it's there. That's why I was saying at the beginning, when it's time to make a purchase, I transfer from my trust, I go across the bridge, it goes into the account, and usually within 20 minutes, the transaction occurs. And then it's done. That way the
Your
dollar
bridge,
doesn't go down in value.
right.
And my bridge is ShakePay.
ShakePay, okay. And that's
Your
Canadian.
bridge would be the Old Glory Bank. Old Glory Bank, that's an incredible bridge. Oh my gosh.
Okay,
That's a
okay.
great bridge. Because now you can take your cryptos and you can send it to your Old Glory Bank, exchange it for dollars, and pay your bill.
I really don't want to be one of those people that you have to fold it, increase, and fold it again, increase, and fold until, like, I don't know why some of the things are so slow. I mean, I do know one of the reasons, which is I'm trying to deal with a lot of different things. So I'm not
Yes.
just going, okay, let's solve this. It's like I make a little headway on this and then I'm dealing with that and that and that, which is, so I know that's one reason that things are, and I'm having to kind of retrace and get the breadcrumbs of where I was before. I'm not, it's cleaning up a bit as I go and I get some things completed and offloaded, or like I know what's happening with that, so I don't have to have that in my mind. But so that's one thing. But it feels like there's something else, which is just the conditioning or the ignorance. Like just some of the things. Like we've been talking about this, woven through for months now, and then like I feel like I just got a totally new piece of information, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, how did I not? Um,
Again, I think what this is, this might help. For me, there was an aha moment about 2 years ago. And I was already well into it and doing the thing, right? But about 2 years ago, it was like a settling in where I was just like, oh, now I can totally relax about this whole person thing. And it was listening to Ram Dass. Yeah, totally. Because he started off, it was a guided meditation. It's about 20 minutes long. No, no, no. That's a different one. It was an 8-minute guided meditation where he was, and it was recorded, where he was speaking in front of a group. And he started the whole thing by saying, I want you for a moment to leave the marketplace and be aware of the inside of your hand.
huh.
And I was like, what? And it went on, and the whole thing went on. But then I listened to it again. I would like you to leave the marketplace. And then it hit me. I was like, that's what the person is. We have been conditioned to believe that we are that. the thing that is only the only connection that it has to anything is a ledger. It's an account of your activity in the marketplace. And we go around identifying ourselves as the account 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
We're literally told that that's who we are.
Yeah.
We leave the marketplace. And remember last week I was talking about how when the transaction occurs, there's only about 250
That's been
milliseconds.
so profound for me.
Yeah.
And so now when you're saying that this landed for you 2 years ago, now I feel like I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Because of the benefit of your sharing and your communicating. It's like, I may not have the technical things in place yet, but I am making the shifts in here.
Yes. It is
Very
all
much.
mine. It is all paradigm engineering. That's what I call
I
it.
am really understanding, and I have shared that with a few people. I can't remember who. I don't remember if I shared it with Philip or not, but like, just really like, it's going to change how I walk around the co-op. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like, I'm even free when I do the transaction, but to just realize, like, I'm not in the public. Yes, the public is around me. Yes, that's not my fault. Everybody's, and some of them in the co-ops, staff and customers have masks. It's like I'm in the zoo, it's like, wow, there's some different species here. But yeah, that was really profound for me. And it just keeps sinking in more, or I just realize, like, definitely when I'm in my home, I'm not in that, it just, so I am making the internal shifts, and then I'm still kind of like, what about how to manifest that.
And it's an inside out job. So just like yesterday on the call, when you were uncomfortable with sharing the trust template, it's like, it's formless in the sense it's wordless, in there, but the uncomfortableness, it's already been formed enough to make you uncomfortable and to pay attention.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And maybe even your nervous system with a migraine. I don't know how you're doing today.
It's still, I think what's happened is there's a tooth that's turned a corner, and I think it's setting off all kinds of stuff. So I don't have a migraine, but I still feel this kind of kinked, whatever, and this has been, it just turned a corner and started aching for the last few days. So I think that might be part of it. And I do not want to go to a dentist. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Ellie Phillips, Dr. Ellie Phillips.
There's something that she's doing that Philip's been doing from her, but she does a lot of products that I will not use.
Yeah, I don't like xylitol. I know, but she still had.
That's the one thing he's doing is the xylitol, but not the Colgate, the Listerine, whatever, the whole, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I won't use toothpaste either, or any kind of mouthwash. I'm not, no. But xylitol, I'm really careful with because of its effect on the pancreas. And some people, and you don't know about it, but it has an impact it can have an impact on the pancreas. So I'm intermittent with her. But what I got from her, what xylitol does is it changes the pH. And you want to have an alkaline pH. So I've got those little strips, and I test my mouth occasionally to see what, like ginger, a little strip of ginger changes the pH. So that's what you want to do. That's the big benefit of xylitol.
Because at this point, Philip is not only using it in his mouth, but he also swallows it. And I'm like, I don't think that's
swallowing it. Well, it goes into the bloodstream from the mouth, all that.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of homeopathics, you just take the dropper and let it soak in under the tongue and let it just go into the mucous membranes. And anyway,
so
just wanted to say that about you making that shift. And I feel that that's what I can recognize in myself. is now I'm not comfortable anymore. I have a discomfort in doing something. It's about alignment too, that
Mhm.
whole alignment and the shift. The old paradigm is, like Paul's saying, a paradigm shift, but it's an erosion of the structure of the paradigm too inside, and that's leaving. And then there's like, oh, should I trust this yet? Then it's
Yeah.
the new paradigm, like coming on board. Yeah. Anyway, that's how I describe it to myself.
I think the thing I felt uncomfortable with yesterday is I felt clumsy. You know what I mean? Like I didn't feel uncomfortable with you all. I didn't have it's just like I want to do things well and then I didn't know how to communicate clearly about it because I wasn't clear. So it was really helpful. I probably went, a little too far afield, but for the time or whatever, but we're navigating all these things,
I really appreciate the in-depth, because you can't go back to that place, that depth place, another time. Do you know what I mean? It's like up and it's ready to be revealed, and it's like it is a little bit of time, but it feels like that exploration is not repeatable.
Mhm.
The same spot in the river again, kind of thing.
Yeah.
For whatever.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Not for, and if we want to go fast, then if we, well, Judy has a love of clarity, brief clarity,
Mhm.
essential clarity, and
Mhm.
thinks that way. She thinks just like what she wrote. That would have probably taken me hours to write. I
Yeah.
can't. I don't think like that, so I have to pare myself down all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was great what she wrote.
Yes, it was. And she's really good at that. That's
Yeah.
the really good thing. Yeah.
I know this might seem a bit off topic, but the tooth thing is really in my I don't trust, yeah. So but yeah, the inner shifts, I am making those. And then part of it's like, I got a computer with Linux, but like I don't want to go on and just end up bringing the same shit on it. So it's like I have some phones that people have given me, so they would not have an identifier with me. I don't know where they are, but as I'm going through my house, I'm going to run into them, and I'm thinking I could do what you've done, or some version of what you've done, Paul. I know one is an Apple. It's probably not the. I think
Don't
Philip might
freak
have
out.
said, "Huh?
Don't freak out. Don't freak out.
What do you?" How many? 4, 5?
5. And there's another one in the drawer that's broken.
Well, the old phone I have been using now seems to be quite broken. Philip's working on it, but he trains. Yeah, so I may have to make some shifts right now, but so it's just like working through, like, oh, I can put a new phone on that, but that number is attached. What is that?
It's a broken one.
Is that a LG Aristo? No, that's an Apple too. Oh, it's really broken. Like it's split open.
Yeah. I don't even know how. I opened up my drawer. I just opened up my drawer and I saw it was snapped open.
Wow.
But I mean, these are all old devices. I don't use them actively. I've got 3 here that actually still function. And what I do is I simply die, right? The digital identity, because this was the original ID, digital ID. The ID dies when I get the new one, and then that one dies, and then I get another one, and then
Because you
that one
shift the
dies.
number, because you shift the number to the new phone.
That was early in my journey.
Uh-huh.
It was only 2 years ago when I got a phone number that doesn't require me to sign up with an identifier. between that, like, yeah, the phone number was the digital ID that stayed consistent through all of these, but the data itself on it was a new identifier. The data that was stored, like the consumption of the data, was a new identifier attributed to that 10-digit phone number. But it was like, oh, like I can go back and I can recall the different email addresses that I used every time I switched. And I didn't do it because that was the solution. I did it because that was the practice. Can you delete your digital life and pick up tomorrow? I can. I can clone my digital self on demand whenever I want. I'm actually thinking of doing it with my big, huge computer here. It's like, well, I mean, if I wanted to replace it, it would probably be about $3,500. And I could do it, and I could go ahead and wipe this computer clean. I'm thinking about doing it. Wipe it clean, start a whole nother new digital ID. It would take me a day to reconfigure the device, but I could do it.
Record it.
Are you saying hash that or what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
hash that, yeah.
Well, no, record
but
the
show.
actual process of it.
Yeah, record the process, yeah.
Because you won't be able to duplicate that.
It would be, I would have to figure out how to do that because I wouldn't be able to record. I'd have to get a second camera to point at the screen in order to record how I do it, which I could do. I could do it with my phone.
I think it would be helpful, Paul, because this is going to be a huge thing. And all of that, how do you clone your digital ID? How do you do that? I mean, if nothing else, you could do hash that while you're doing it so that you can edit it easily.
Yeah.
Or, what is that one where you can just say, like I was reading Audrey Lynn's article on the boron.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, oh, this is a lot to read, and I don't need all this technical information. But I did read it, and I thought, geez, if only I could get like a summary, But is that now how we're going to be thinking?
Yes.
Yes. But it was worth it. But and it was.
What I've been doing is that I go to people send me some YouTube videos, which is great. And I like it when people send me long form video, not because I'm excited to watch it. I download the video and I transcribe it and I get the machine to give me a 5-minute read. And I can get what that video is about without having to sit there and wait for the fucking talking head to finish a sentence. It's like, I'm impatient. I can't pay attention for 2 years unless, or 2 years, 2 hours, unless it's something that I want all that context and I want the inflections of the voice. But then I'll just go watch a movie.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Give me the text.
When you say you transcribe it, you don't mean using the YouTube transcription, you mean getting your own transcription of it?
I should say now YouTube has those transcriptions.
Okay.
And that helps for sure.
Okay.
Sometimes though, the YouTube transcriptions do not diarize the speakers.
What does that mean? Oh, it doesn't tell you who's speaking.
Right. Whereas my transcriber can identify the different people speaking, and that helps me. It helps the machine be able to get a sense of what how the conversation unfolded.
Yeah.
In my Soma sensing class, she has a transcriber that says, and now Maureen is doing this on the floor. Maureen, blah, blah. So then you get a sense without watching the video. But that's exactly what I really want to spend that time watching this whole thing, because time now has become really precious. So, and if that 5-minute blurb, that's why a 2 or 3, 4-minute thing. Okay, I can, because that did look interesting about boron, and I liked the analogy, and I thought it was worth it, so.
Yeah.
But I wanted to practice, and I want to go on every day and just practice for a while. Just do the messaging and then go through each one of the feeds until I feel like there's a pathway, neural pathway formed. So it's not, you know, how when you first go anywhere, you're always like, oh, you know, all of the extra stuff that happens the first time you do anything.
Mhm.
So it becomes at ease.
Are you talking about Dragon Riders now?
Yeah, Dragon,
Okay.
the Nextcloud.
Okay. Yeah.
Going on Nextcloud and the Dragon Riders. Yeah.
So
What-
can I go back to what you were talking about, Paul? Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Maureen, are you okay? I don't
She's
know.
muted. I think
Okay.
yeah, I think she's just working on breakfast or something.
Okay. Okay.
Working on breakfast. Oh yeah, no, no,
I
no.
didn't mean to cut you off or,
No, no.
Okay.
You know, none of that. I don't have any of that.
Okay.
You'll
One of
notice.
the One of the things I like about you. It's not like, oh, you said this and that. No, I don't like you anymore.
Don't-
I'm not going to tell
don't
you.
wor-
I'm just going to be like,
Don't worry,
Well, I think-
Zoa. I think we'll know.
okay.
My face gets all red, and no, I do have a wonderful delineation of relationships from Celestrina, and I would love to talk about it. The I feel I need, and she goes into relationships and the levels. It's like breaking it down, like almost like oh gosh, Ken Wilber, how he breaks consciousness down into different levels of consciousness. And she does that. And I'll send it to you. I'll send it to both of you if you're interested. I don't want to flood you with, and it's a short, so it's pretty quick. I'll do
Yeah.
that right now.
Yeah,
live.
because it's that I feel I need it's not landing super well across the purification space, which is just the few people I know. The handfuls.
I went to where my laptop usually is to do it. I noticed, oh, it's not there. That's because it's here in the kitchen. Okay, Maureen, settle down.
So going back to the things that you were saying, Paul,
Yeah.
I feel a bit like when people talk about cars and I don't have the experience. So Philip can tell me, well, then the pistons are blah, 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 and the diddle, and he was in car mechanic school way back in high school or something. So he's got, and, he knows what those things are. And, then a year will go by and something's wrong with a car and he says it again. And I'm like, no, wait, but what are the, and he's like, we've talked about this. It's like, but I don't have same thing with computers, except that what's going on in the world, I feel determined and committed to, like, there's not a whole lot of point for me to fully educate myself on a car. They're not like the VWs that you can fix them yourself anymore anyway. So I understand that that's going to be handled by somebody else. But this stuff is a car isn't actually that personal, right? I mean, they're getting more so because they're spying on us and all that shit. But anyway, I feel committed, but like you'll say something like that and I'm paying attention, but I don't know what it means when you say you can clone your digital ID. I don't know what that means. It sounds like a thing that we're actually trying to avoid.
Right.
So I don't know if you mean that you're starting a new one that doesn't connect it to the old one, or that you're replicating. So anyway, there's things like this that you say that it's like, I'm going to get this at some point. This will mean something. Like, and there are more things that I go, aha, yes, oh, yes. Like I have a map to connect it to, but like right now, what you just shared, it's like, I want to be able to do that. And I don't even know what it is. So there.
Yep. And there's not really a way to explain it. It is a paradigm. Think of it this way. If you have, you know what? Let's do it this way. We have a mastermind every Wednesday. We meet up. Next Gen Merchants.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it goes for about 90 to 120 minutes on average. What is that? Well, we meet up here on StreamYard. We chat and we do things. People can comment, and I could stream it if I wanted to. But it's really just a bunch of people getting together at the same time coordinate. Wayne Peters is a journalist. He does the same thing every day. It's not a mastermind where he brings a bunch of people together, but it's the same platform. We share it. He has his brand in StreamYard, and I've got mine. The actions that he takes to get started with his broadcasts are the same actions that I take when I start up a mastermind. The only difference between the two is the label.
Mm-hmm.
But that the actions are the same. Well, my digital identity just has a label on it, and I switch the label whenever I clone it.
So when you clone it, you're changing the ID on it? Or
That's the
or
way
you're
to think.
maintaining-
That's the way to think about it. I change the identifier.
So in a way, it's a clean slate.
And I can pick up where I left off.
And you can pick up where you left off. So you're cloning things that are not identifiers. You're cloning like I need to be able to do this function. So is that what you're replicating? It's like I can do all the things that I was doing, but I've left the history behind. Like I'm starting on a clean canvas, like a new painting.
Yeah, the data doesn't get lost. I retain all the data, but the label on the data
Mm.
is what changes. It's kind of like, if I have a Starbucks card and I'm going to go and, I've used this analogy before. And now I'm a Starbucks loyalty member, right? Or
For
whatever.
those 2 seconds or
And I get points whenever I swipe that. Hello, Audrey Lynn. And I'm swiping and I get the points. Well, what if I don't want to use that card anymore? I can pick up right where I left off, still being a member. I can even transfer the balance from one card to another card. It's just a different label. It's got a different graphic on it. It's got a different identifier too, because every card has its own unique ID. This is the same thing. When I switched from this here, this is the original iPhone, the original, very first one from 2008. That's the original iPhone.
which is also
doesn't-
when you started extricating yourself from the
2008. Yep. The phone I had before that was a Sony. So it's just, I switched cards. I switched loyalty cards. The data stayed. It's a clone, but I just use a different label on it now. It is not going to help. No amount of explaining it is going to help. It becomes a practice. That new device that you were talking about, you got your new Linux device? That's a great way to get started. Fresh new device, brand new data. That's a great way to get started. That would be your first machine that you'll probably clone in 5 to 10 years. Start getting a brand new device. Bring all of the data from the old device over to your new device. The first device never had any personally identifiable information. It's just all data. It's just numbers, ones and zeros in folders. That is literally the epitome of computing. Ones and zeros organized in folders. You can take those ones and zeros in all those folders and you can put them on a new piece of hardware, a new piece of metal, and just change the label.
I feel like some of the confusion here is just what you're talking about with starting to understand when you're in the system and when you're not, like what actually ties us and what doesn't.
Identifying yourself as a property, because that's another thing too. Like these folders are just properties. If you're putting all of these folders into another property that is identifiable by the government has the capacity to make a claim, not that it's legitimate, but they can make a claim on all of the property that is within their property. Why? Because it's theirs. They created the person, not you. So when you have the data that you're generating attributed to a property that is not yours, of course we're supposed to be scared of such powers. Like, that is legit. The difference between me and pretty much everybody else is that I don't have any government-related identifiers associated with any of the bare metal that I control. This one does. This one does have the app ShakePay so that I can make payments. But that's it. But there's no other data on there that's related to the data of my work. So even if, oh, we found Paul, okay. Well, no, you found the government's identifier of that I get to use when conducting commerce within Starbucks. Oh, sorry, Canada. You found the transaction that I initiated on my loyalty card. Thank you. I'm just not very loyal. I don't identify myself as that property when I'm not acting in commerce.
Right.
I leave the marketplace identified as a country, and I'm on a completely different trade route using a completely different source of equity, because I'm not attributing any of those properties with someone else's property of me.
Does the fact that I bought the Linux with my credit card, does that, like, I'm just not sure where the trail is and where it breaks and where.
Well, if you're concerned about that, I would sell your laptop to your trust.
Okay.
I wouldn't be concerned about it, because it's not like the transaction of that device is attributed to that, unless the serial number's on the bill of sale. If
The serial number
numbers,
of the computer?
yeah, if it's on the bill of sale, sell it to your trust for $1 if you really want to get technical. But you don't have to do that. You can use any form of equity. Why? Because it's a trust. But I wouldn't be concerned about that. Because again, you got it acting as a trustee.
I don't want to use it because I don't know what things I do that start, like if I am on there and I go to my bank account, then I would want to do that in a profile that's the only things that I do in that profile is do the citizenship. So it's limiting it to a profile. And
here's what I would do in your situation. Right now, what kind of computer are you using to have this discussion?
Mac. It's a Mac.
Do you do any online banking with it?
I do.
Okay,
I check my. Okay.
Keep doing it. When you open up that second computer, never, ever, 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 ever use the government's identifier of you in any of the data. So you're not going to use the new computer with any of your stuff. Think of it this way. Remember how we were segregating the different Brave browser users?
Yeah.
Okay, segregate the device.
So it's not enough on the new computer to just segregate it into the Brave profile users?
I would not. I would continue using Brave profile user. I would continue using Brave profiles on the new device, but I would never have any of those Brave profiles be used to access information that is attributed to the person.
Well, and this is, I think, why I was holding off, because I didn't want to, because I'm not clear on what things do that.
Yeah.
And as you say it, it's like, okay, that makes sense. And I've had more that, at least the idea of having different devices for different things, but I'm not clear enough on it. you know, you have 5 phones and you're aware of what they each have and what they don't. But if you just have 5 phones and you're doing similar things on all of them, you haven't really achieved anything.
Right. Yeah, yeah. No, no,
Yeah.
no. It's like I do not work on What's Up Canada. I do not work on that journalist's website with the same Brave profile that I work on mine. It's a different person. It's a different capacity, it's a different set of data, it's a different purpose. I simply recognize what identity is, and that is that it's well, I know what identities are, and that is they are the definition, the limitation of capacities. So when I'm using any of the Brave profiles that I have, I deliberately do not use it in a capacity that is not in alignment with the purpose of that profile. Like you've got communities that you go to. Some people go to church, some people go to Alcoholics Anonymous, some people are going to business networking, and these different communities, they're not the same person going. They're not putting on this. They're not taking on the same identity
Mm-hmm.
in all of those groups. In fact, it's not advisable for you to, go to church and and be the business networker. And you don't go to the business networking thing talking about all your woes and problems in your faith. You're segregating your capacities
Mm-hmm.
depending on which activity that you're enacting, right? I don't go to Tim Hortons with a Starbucks card and expect to get service.
So the trick that's been played is that we think that all of these things are attached to this governmental identifier.
And yeah, we basically fill our entire day trying to have that identifier meet expectations that others have of it, right?
This is what we're trying to do in Dragon Riders, is trying to find the quote identifier or the personality or the energetic structure with the mind, the mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual persona to navigate and to open to, the inner being. And how is that? We need the shell. It's like an interface to the world. How do we do that? And we haven't discovered that yet.
Is it kind of like we started a profile, but we didn't have a set purpose for it? Like, I have the Brave stuff now, and it's like I end up, because I haven't gotten clear enough in my head yet, I end up just using the default work one because I don't want to have miscellaneous go into other ones. So it's I'm doing it with the consciousness of I'm going to need to sort this out at some point, right? Like, yeah.
It sounds as though that the Dragon Riders have not set their parameters.
Yeah, I think, or we don't know what they are. Like they exist, but we don't know what they are.
There's capacities too. So, but the capacities come from, who are we as a group, and then with each other, with individually, and connecting the dots with the group and then with the world. So yeah, no, we have it. I loved your article on boron, by the way.
That was
the article you shared, Audrey.
Oh,
before you came on, she was talking about having read that, and
I allude to things. I don't really speak them directly. I like peek around the corner, invite you to come with me to peek around the corner.
there she goes.
Another way that I think of this is that if I'm going to be using YouTube, I'm going to be exercising specific capacities. And those specific capacities, I do not want to be attributed to an identifier where I am practicing the capacities of an editor for a journalist. So I do not visit YouTube with an identifier that does not have assigned capacities to do so. Audrey Lynn actually has more Brave profiles than I do. She's probably got 3 times as many Brave profiles as I do, because she has movies, she has banking, she has, I don't know, Experimentor, she has research, she has gardening, she has all of these different capacities that she exercises. Oh, Audrey, go ahead.
Sometimes I remember to exercise them. Full disclosure here.
No,
I
And
appreciate that.
and it's in the moment of clicking the button going, oh shit, I'm in the wrong profile. Click out, come back.
I appreciate hearing that because it is a shift.
Oh yeah.
It is. I mean, that's,
Mhm.
I've set up, okay, I haven't set up that many profiles in Brave, and then we switched to Vivaldi, and I've just kind of like, Vivaldi's sacred. Like, I can't do anything there because I don't want to fucking mess it up.
Don't taint the data.
Because I'm not of sound enough mind. You know what I mean? It's a little bit like, I'm not saying this makes sense, but I'm saying, okay, I'm going to do a weird analogy that I've never really practiced or believed in, maybe, is that I'm saving myself. I'm saving my, for a clean, like I'm thinking of the thing, like people don't do certain things before they get married, right? Like you save yourself so that you're a virgin coming to that or whatever. I feel like I'm doing that with these, like, oh, we made Vivaldi and we opened up Zed and then like I got to the Gollum part and I'm like, whoa, I don't know what to do with, like what if I'm doing the wrong capacity with, and I'm saying it because I know that there's something silly about it, but there's also something about wanting to get the shifts in place. I mean,
I think it's the practice of knowing where you want to be, the identifier I want to use in that moment. And for me, it is remembering, oh, I've just dove down a rabbit hole, actually. Yep. Got pulled into a rabbit hole. And
on the wrong profile.
I'm on the wrong profile.
Yeah.
What is that to me? Is that okay? Or is it not okay?
And does it indicate sound mind when you use the right profile and the right capacity? Is that what
I'd love to have a sound mind?
No, I mean, Paul, I wanted to ask you that because when you have the two personas, and you indicate, this distinction between the two, because that indicates sound mind. I don't know. I was just making that link. Or what indicates sound mind?
Knowing what capacities you're exercising.
Exactly.
And so
that determines the identifier.
Correct. That's what, yes. And that's the hierarchy, I would even say.
So could you do it? Okay, sound mind equals capacity equals identifier.
Sound mind is being aware of what capacities you want to exercise and then choosing the identifier that's most appropriate. If I'm exercising new capacities, I'm creating a new identifier.
Right. And if you know that, then you're of sound mind.
Correct.
And does it ever happen for you still that you're in a capacity that you've defined and you've filled out, and something new emerges while you're in that capacity, and that then you kind of go, oh, this is actually a new, like I'm going to create a different identifier for this.
Think of it this way. When I'm working as the Postmaster General, sometimes I need to have some help where I do, as a Postmaster General, I do not have the capacities. And now I can use the right profile, the right capacities to help the Postmaster General. Once I'm done doing that work, then I go back. Now I'm the Postmaster General again. And now I can continue where I left off.
And that is such a clarity. I have such a habit of like free associating. So like I'm in one thing and it's like, oh, that thing, you know, and I'm not necessarily, there's almost a release or a relief in that of like, I'm going to something else in the same space. So it's messy, right? Like it's not that clean thing where you're saying, Audrey Lynn, oh, I'm going to go over here for that. I mean, I'm very aspirational to like that. I get the importance and the value of it. And then there's a process of like, in the moments when I'm tired, when I'm doing something for distraction, when I'm, you know, whatever, it's like.
But
My experimenter profile tends to be the one that I default to most often, simply because when I'm acting in the capacity as the experimenter, it is a very broad range of curiosity.
Yeah.
And in identity,
In identity.
we call that range, we call them domains because sometimes they overlap. Right?
Say more.
Sometimes they overlap. Well, think of it as a farmer, right? There's the farmer and he has multiple domains on the land, but it's all one land.
Mm-hmm.
And when he is when he's in one domain, let's say for instance he's in the green pasture, he's going to be exercising specific capacities. He's still the same farmer, but he's going to be exercising specific capacities within that domain.
Think of it as the patches in your garden. Let's say you have a patch of carrots and then a patch of, I'll just use my plot as an example, radish, and then potentially beets. But in between all of that is this beautiful carpet of dandelions or mallow or other things that weave their way in between these two domains.
Mm-hmm.
So it does make things a little blurry, and there is this kind of like fading from one domain into the next.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you were trying to convey, Paul?
Yeah, and sometimes you have to change outfits.
Yep.
Right? And I would say that the outfit would be the device. Right? I just changed hats, but that's just Brave browser profiles. Right? But sometimes I got to actually put on a suit. Well, that's a whole different device.
Right.
Now it's a whole different range of domains that I'm entering there, whole different range of capacities that have nothing to do with the guy that's usually like if it's not summertime, I'm wearing a hoodie. Right? But when I'm wearing a suit, I'm not sitting in front of my computer, that's for damn sure.
Is this where something like consent is that what's observed is the law? I mean, in the sense of that the jurisdiction you're in, say the legal jurisdiction, if you're operating within a capacity and you're clear on it of sound mind, they can't hold you responsible for any other identifiers in that way. Or could you explain that relationship?
Ian actually did that really well when he said that a police officer has no authority, zero authority, to ask for your driver's license if you're not driving. Why? Because you're not acting in the capacity of a driver.
But they also can phrase it as your identity papers, which is different than driving.
But you don't have to give them a driver's license.
But if that's all you have, I mean, what other identity? I mean, I could, at one point in time, I could have shown them my City of Edmonton licensure for the privilege of doing massage.
Yeah.
as a piece of ID,
As long as it has your picture on it, I think. Or
Right.
maybe not, because of a
No.
passport. Oh, passport has your picture on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that when it comes right down to it, from a jurisdictional standpoint, even if you have a passport and you're in another country, the only time that that identifier needs to be produced is when you're passing through a port.
Mhm.
That's it.
again, it's that concept of using the tool, whether it's your passport, driver's license, phone, computer, for the appropriate activity. Because you
And
wouldn't use your passport to log into your email. It's not a
Right.
port. It's not a port that is defined by the usage of that document.
Hmm.
So now when people cross the border, they are demanding people's phones. Maybe not everybody's, but they are
Well,
doing
yeah,
that.
because there's more identifiers there.
But do they have the authority to demand that?
No. But they have the power,
And the
and that's the problem. That's the problem. And to the degree that they exercise that power is by who? By what authority?
The consent of the governed.
Thank you. I don't want to have to show my phone at the border. Okay, well, do your job as a good citizen, round up a bunch of your pals, and stop that from happening. Oh, we don't know how to do that. Well, that goes to Thursday, by the way. Thursday market analysis. I will be correcting the record from last Thursday's market analysis. You start a corporation aggregate and you govern your own equity through that. And your treasury can come in many forms. It does not have to be in any particular form. The governance that you bring to that treasury is by your consent. That's what makes it law. If you don't want to have to show your phone at the border, you're going to have to show that you govern the border. And that's going to take work. It's going to take a ministry and a multiple plethora of ministries to bring governance to the Gestapo at the border. And until the people come together and do that work, it's going to continue. And my encouragement for people is to open their minds into the idea, like try it on. It's kind of like, you're going to a store and you see a nice pair of jeans and you're like, no. Try them on. And go to the fitting room. And if you don't like the look of it, take them off. That's fine. But just try it on for size. The idea that you, as a living, breathing being, a vessel for a spirit to animate and experience all that life has to offer. Just think for a moment. You might not be the property of someone else. Try it on for size. You might not be the property of a corporation. There might be a property of a corporation that is attributed to you, but it's not your identity. It's just an identifier. It's another profile. And the peace that surpasses all understanding is recognizing that you are not someone else's property.
I've never been a churchgoer. I am going somewhere with this. So I can only imagine what going to church feels like for someone that's an engaging thing, not just a habit, not a pattern, but like something where that's where they feel fed. But to me, this feels like what I would imagine church feels like.
Say more. What do you mean?
When I come here and we have these conversations, they feel so integral. They feel so paramount to what's happening right now and the shifts that are happening and the shifts that we need to make to navigate it. So, like, we talk about a lot of technical stuff on here, but to me, it isn't just technical stuff. It's like how to be here, right? Like how to be here freely.
Are you saying, and I might be paraphrasing a little bit too far, are you saying that it's like the technical is the technical discussions that we have, they aren't arduous because they are, you can see how they are practical application of the
Yeah.
principles?
Yeah. And how imperative they are. Like, if I could move faster, I would have made all these shifts, I don't know, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but I didn't, and I can't even just make them now, but I am. So there's other calls that we're on that people will go, I'm not really into this or that, and it's like, I just can't even see it that way because it seems connected to what you're saying of like being an animating spirit in a vehicle. Like, I felt the other way before, like, I just can't be bothered with this, Phil handled a lot of the technical stuff. If anything went wrong with the computer, he figures it out. Now I try and work out what I can before I go to him and go, okay, I tried this and that, it doesn't seem to be that. And then he does his more advanced troubleshooting, but I try and pick up more. And it's not because because that's my calling or wheelhouse or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, that's same with like the trusts and the PMAs and all that. It's not like I just wake up in the morning going, I really want to, but it feels connected to how to be as an individual, how to continue to connect with people. I mean, just like what you were talking about the other day of how things have been shifted and how you're seeing that people are going to be hungry for human contact, and how do we even determine that it's human and not AI?
Mm-hmm.
I'm much more just innately compelled by the plant world. I'm not necessarily successful in it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't get great harvests and I don't follow through, but I continue to be compelled by it no matter how successful or mostly unsuccessful I am by external means. I don't feel that with the technical, and yet what's happening in the world has made this that important, I think. There's just things that we do that we take care of. Like, I don't wake up in the morning going, another day to brush my teeth. That's what I'm here for. and wash parts of me that need to, it's like, that's not what I'm here for. But I understand that that's part of being here and being well and taking care of this vehicle. And I do it better sometimes and less others try to not fall out on things that actually make a more long-term difference. So I don't know, that's kind of the frontier where this agenda or this, as you say, the adversaries or the other source, the frontier where they're honing in and have been for a long time. Like I know we are behind the curve in terms of they've been planning out a long time, right? And we're kind of going, what? Maybe not you because you're ahead of that, but like I used to feel like I had the freedom of my own mind. And now it's not that that's gotten less free, it's that I've understood how free that wasn't, how preconditioned it already was, how the parameters were already set by something that I wasn't aware of and didn't knowingly consent to. So it feels pretty imperative. It feels very important. And still kind of daunting and baffling and confusing, and people have different ideas of how to do the thing, and they're saying do this, and then I come to you and it's like, well, actually that's all like just feeding into the system in another way, just anyway. The church part that I'm saying is just that I feel very compelled in these conversations, and sometimes we're a little more wide-ranging and talking about things out there, but quite often, at least somewhere in the conversation, it gets to this like riveting point of like, boy, we're right at that edge that I want to be embodying and I don't quite get it, and but that's exciting.
What I'm hearing you say is that you are experiencing the shedding of identities.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking from the finish line. The Dragon Riders, especially of all people, Audrey Lynn, you most of all, have been present for me when I'm still clinging to old identifiers.
And they are clinging to us too. That I just find that really interesting, because otherwise we take it on as this like, I haven't shed that yet. And it's like, we're in a context. It's like if a fish discovered that it was in water and it wasn't good water. It's like, all right, I'm done with water. It's like, we can't just flip out and be in the air. I'm not an air creature. Shit. Well, I guess I'm done.
The thing for me has been recognizing in the moment the identifier that I am clinging to. And I'll give you an example. When just before we moved here, had to clean the old apartment. That apartment, those walls were never painted. I lived there for 13 years and they never painted them before. And we worked really hard to clean that place. And I was scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing and recognizing that the old paint was coming off. And oh my God, I got to do better because I'm not going to get my damage deposit back. And then Paul reminded me, he says, you're not getting your damage deposit back. It doesn't matter how hard you work. This property manager is going to find every which way to make sure you get the least amount. And I sat with that because I'd had some interactions with this woman doing work for her. And yeah, no integrity.
Well, let's just to bring this home a little bit. She couldn't pay you for the work that you had done for her, right?
Oh, she wouldn't. She would not.
Right. And so obviously that wasn't, you weren't going to get your damage deposit back.
Yeah. But the thing that clicked for me was I was attempting to be the good girl and do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
because I know my integrity. So if this is my integrity, then the other is going to mirror that, right?
Right. Wrong.
And it was literally a flip of a switch. Shit, you're right. I am not going to get this back. I'm killing myself. I'm asking you to do the same thing. For what? And so we stopped, completely stopped. And the day in which I was supposed to hand the keys over, I also had dental work that day, and I had left a text for the property manager saying, outlining exactly what was going on. The keys are under the door. Go ahead and pull them out. And she didn't read it, or no, she did. She responded, but it was totally inappropriate, as though she hadn't read the text. And that same day, she came to do the outtake report with someone with her to do an intake report, and she couldn't get in because she didn't have keys, and she didn't read the email or the text that said, "Here are the keys." So for me, that was one of my, oh, right. I don't have to act in this capacity because this other person, I don't have to, I'm seeking validation and acceptance, first of all, from someone totally inappropriate, and would never, ever get it, ever.
Yeah,
That's
you were
the thing I
trying
say.
to trying to impress a witch.
Yeah. And so by leaving the keys under the door and basically abandoning the apartment, I forced her to pay someone to finish the job
Mm-hmm.
because she couldn't take that money from them.
The new person, you mean?
Well, no, the owner of the building, because it's the owner of the building who has to pay for all this stuff out of my damage deposit. And so what this woman had done in the past was with me, I had done some cleaning, and she came to me and asked me to accept 50% of my bill.
Mm-hmm.
Even though
After
she was
an
gonna-
agreed
even though
rate.
she was going to charge the owner the full price.
Yeah, after an agreed rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said, "Oh, I'm just going to give you this instead."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I essentially put her into a position where she couldn't do that. She had to be, have some kind of integrity, because she like the owner, the new owner started out with a liking of me and then progressively did not. And I'm projecting that this was the interaction between myself and the property manager. In any event, my point is that
Identity. You
it's
dropped
when
it.
I realize what it is that I'm seeking through this identity, and is this situation the appropriate place for me to be seeking that identity? Is that identity serving me?
You were using capacities from a different profile in this profile where it didn't
Yes.
function the way
Yes.
that you'd want. And the classic thing they talk about is like trying to get raisins at the hardware store. There's nothing wrong with raisins, nothing wrong with hardware store, but there's not really raisins at the hardware store.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was trying to please a parent, an authority figure.
Yeah. And be frugal and get your money back. You know what I mean? Like and do a good
Stick
job.
by your guns.
Leave it. Do what?
Oh, and stick by your guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also see you as a person of integrity. So you're going to meet your agreement.
Yes. And I tend to do that to the point of extreme pain.
You wouldn't leave it, a place full of garbage. I've been Paul, like you, I've been a property manager. So, I mean, I know all about that, believe me, from people. And I just think most people, you can tell right away from their past history what they're going to do. But I think your integrity showed up, and normal wear and tear. There's a lot that I accept under normal wear and tear. I mean, painting is like, that's unbelievable. 13 years,
Well, and the thing too is that she was showing the suite during this cleaning process, and the new potential tenants were asking, "Is this place going to get painted?" And she responded with, no, we don't have the money for that. What? What? What?
After 13 years?
After 13 years. I mean, granted, so a little bit more context. We left in August, and the previous November, this owner took possession of the building. So it wasn't that they had the full 13, no, they would have had the full 13 years of interest, because that damage deposit plus interest would have been forwarded to the new owner. So yes, that would have been 13 years of monies. But it's only money. I mean, if that's the price I had to pay in order for peace of mind,
Tuition. Let's do it. I love that.
tuition. Yeah, exactly. It was worth every penny.
I remember that day. It was like you were burdened, and then all of a sudden you were like, no, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Which
Well, also
reminds me of the book that we're reading. It's called Letting Go by Hawkins. And it was literally that. It was a letting go of the situation. And I experienced peace.
Yeah.
Profound peace.
Well, also
Which,
literally just the mechanics of trying to clean, like we have, when Philip moved into this house, he was really worked on a lot of stuff, and then he ran out. He just went, you know what? I'm not here for this. This doesn't. So there's the rooms that were handled, and then there's the rooms that are not, and they still have like old stuff on them. And it's like, you can't clean them. You can't. I can scrub and know they're clean, and they don't look clean. So we're just dealing with the mechanics of like, I'm working to clean this, but it's just going to be more peeling and more whatever.
We just redid the cupboards again, and this time Ron put shellac on it.
Mm.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is it, Ron?
Polyurethane.
Polyurethane, so that when you put your hands on where there's not when you don't use the puller, what are those called? The hardware. You know how it gets all mucky, and it was like paint that was like breathed on. They held it in their mouth and spit it out on the. I mean, you just clean it and the paint just comes right off. No. So we used what did we use?
Oh, we used the semi-gloss.
Semi-gloss.
And then the glossy urethane.
And 2 coats, hand painted. Now they'll last. It's the last time we'll paint. That's what you say when you get this age. Oh, that's the last car I'll buy. That's the last time I'll paint. These won't have to buy that again.
I remember
That was a sound mind movement. Audrey Lynn, that was a sound mind.
What's
We're talking about capacity and identities. Identifier.
like you do.
Like we all.
This is a conversation that would not be registered by a lot of people. I mean, the things that we're honing in on and going, oh, yeah, oh, that's so good. You had that. I can know. I mean, I've experienced that where you just like, oh, there's no there there. Like if I let go, I may still get flack, but like it doesn't belong to me.
Oh, that's a nice feeling. Doc Hawkins has wonderful YouTubes too.
Mm.
Doc Hawkins, is that?
Yeah, Doc Hawkins. He wrote the Letting Go, right? Power and Truth, or Truth and Power.
Oh, yeah, that is the same guy that did the scaling of the levels of the frequencies.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember when I first saw him, and I thought, he looks so sick. How could he be talking about health? Because he was like all gray and everything.
Wife
I guess
sitting
that.
there, we're ready to catch you.
What did he say?
Oh, his wife was sitting behind him, ready to catch him if he fell.
Oh,
And they lived in Sedona. It was a perfect. And he's just a beautiful man.
Yeah, he was.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys familiar with Focused Life Force Energy?
No.
It is a company which uses the Hawkins levels of consciousness to send quantum energy to a place or objects, and it raises their frequency, and you kind of use it like in a protective shield.
It is. So is it quantum entanglement? That kind of.
Yes, I
You
would say
say
so.
focused life.
FLFE.org, I believe.
Oh, my chiropractor's coming. So he comes to the house. Thank you, God.
He comes to your house.
I know.
Yeah.
He's a Sagittarius. He's got a mobile chiropractor. So Sagittarius. Comes on his horse. No, he has a truck. Everybody in California has a truck. I mean, these little bitty women, they're like 5 foot like me, getting into these huge railroad car trucks to drive around in.
With a step ladder.
With a step ladder and a rebounder to get up to the step ladder.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can see them run.
that sounds like Alberta.
And then they leave it running. Meanwhile, everybody around them is falling over from the fumes. Remember we used to warm your car up? And then Ron says, well, it may be diesel. And I thought, okay, all right, it's diesel. And then Ron started doing it. We would be sitting in parked and Ron's car would still be
I just
on.
want the AC running.
Hopefully, don't let this be happening to me. And I just criticize them and then I'm doing it. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Thank you. And again, Audrey Lynn, that was very interesting. And I was glad I ate avocados and greens and almonds and all the things that it has boron in it. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Oh, I did send you YouTubes on maybe 3 different things. I didn't send it to Audrey Lynn. I could send it to you, Audrey Lynn, if you're interested. But Paul, I also sent it to Paul on his email. Hopefully you'll get it, Paul. Hello.
You should just use the Nextcloud. That's what that's for.
Why didn't I do that? I'm trying to do that. Thank you.
Because you have an old identifier.
I certainly do, and a not of sound mind.
And the
It's
new
not
one,
able to adapt.
the new one is your new one.
Okay, how would I do that? I would.
No, your Nextcloud identifier is your new one.
But okay, so now I would go on and I'd put it somewhere. Where would I put it? I don't have emails.
You have
Just
a thing.
send it to me. There's in talk. You can click on my name and you can send me a message like a text.
Like a text, and it would be on. And okay, all right, hold on. All right, I'll have to do that later.
Okay. And if you need help next time we meet up, we'll do a tutorial.
Let's do that. And tell me what you think of her. She's this young. She's like 30 something. She's amazing. Anyway, tell me what you think of her if you are attracted to it. Anyway, see you later, guys.
Thank you.
We didn't even do a chart.
No, we did not.
A chartless market analysis. What was the other thing you were going to call it? Oh, the AMA. Ask me anything.
Yeah. I have no idea.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
You shared with me that the calendar that we use has been patented.
Mm-hmm.
And
Early 1600s.
I can't find. Did they have patents in the 1600s?
Well, it was the king. The king was allowed to claim his systems.
Okay, because I decided to do my own due diligence. Well, is it my own if I'm using AI? I don't know. But I was just like, I was asking other questions about the 13-month calendar. And then I was like, by the way, I've heard that the current calendar is patented. Where would I find that information? And it was like, it has not been patented. You must be confused because there are certain devices that have been patented that might say Gregorian calendar, but it's not the calendar itself. You can't patent time. And I'm
But
thinking,
you can patent how you measure time.
yes.
Yeah. And actually, if I remember correctly, it's a copyright. It's not a patent. If I remember correctly, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, because I've started to say that to some people, and then I realized like I should have more behind me than, well, Paul told me. Who you
Yeah,
don't know. This
I'm-
man that does not live in Canada told me.
Yeah.
So AI Ask Brave was not having any of that conspiracy theory. But it did give some leeway on the, I compared it to something else. Oh, the financial debt, the debt financial system. And it was kind of like, yeah, well, there's some there.
I will. I know I have it somewhere. I will find it.
So it was a king of where was what, the king of the world in the 16th century. Was
Yeah,
it-
it's kind of like Caesar Augustus when all the world needed to be taxed. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing. It was the Gregorian calendar was something that the church I think it was the church that created it for the king. And at the time was Great Britain.
Oh, Great Britain. Okay. I don't know why I was thinking like Italy, but because of the Vatican.
Probably because of the Vatican.
Yeah, I'm it's so interesting because when there's just an absence of information for me. When it was just changing the numbers, I was like, I'm going to do it. And then somehow I found out that also the weekday is different. And then I was like, oh, wow, no, I don't know if I can do it.
Oh yeah, it's a 10-day offset even. Like when they implemented the Gregorian calendar, they literally deleted 10 days. Just like
Which Ask Brave talked about. Like there's this guy that thinks those missing 10 days means there's 300 years that didn't actually happen and blah, blah, blah. So,
oh yeah.
yeah. And like that's a conspiracy. It's not actual. So, and I'm like, and who are you to tell me what's a conspiracy? You've been put in place by the conspirators. Don't you know? That's what we say in Minnesota. Don't you know? So it seems like one of the things that it's really based on or associated with is commerce and economy, like being able to, it's like it's better bookkeeping, it's better being able to compare one month to that month or different month. And I don't know that that's highly motivating to me. That the Eastman Kodak ran on that for 80, 90 years or 60 years or something. I'm more motivated by like a spiritual orientation, not a woo-woo orientation or a woke orientation, but a, just what we're all doing here is, and I'm also just concerned, like I feel like I struggle so much with time anyway. So I can't, so at first this appeared to me like a solution, like a time that's really based in something that's not arbitrary and just trying to mess us all up and keep us all like going, wait, what day is it? What, but I'm also like, I don't have, like the people that worked in Eastman Kodak, their work environment and their personal environment could be on that calendar. And they weren't having to navigate so much. They had a shared community, like we're talking about, like, hey, what if we all do this, even if all is like 5 or 6 of us, right? There's something anyway, I'm concerned about, like, I already think that Tuesday is Monday and Thursday at the same time. So anyway, I'm kind of just sorting and sifting with that.
Think of it this way: the passage of time is something that
Kamala Harris.
is far, yeah, yeah. It is something that is that far. It's like it's kind of like the conversation last Thursday, where I was asked whether or not I was in Canada. And I said, well, I mean, there's a land mass that is commonly known as Canada. But I mean, the land mass was here for many years, eons before the word Canada was ever
And it
uttered.
might not even been here.
Yeah,
You know, it might have been closer to the equator at that time, or it might have been connected to the other land masses, or, you know, hey,
yeah. We do know that it was in the southern hemisphere.
that's what I thought. But I couldn't
That
remember.
much we know, and at a 107-degree tilt, where the equator was running along the eastern coast of Canada and America.
Mm,
And again, I'm referencing the land masses by their corporate names.
right, right.
It's the same kind of thing with the Gregorian calendar. It was invented. It was just, oh, hey, let's do this, with no regard whatsoever for any previous measurement of chronological events. And so it just, started getting used because, the Pope said so type thing, right?
Well, it's like the, I mean, it's much broader than this, but the QWERTY keyboard and the Dvorak,
Yeah.
or the mammogram and the thermogram. It's
Mhm.
like the thermogram's way better, but it didn't win the economic power.
Yep.
So I shifted to Dvorak for a long time.
Oh, I've wanted to do that.
I did it when I got hired into an online company, and we were all over. I just knew I'm going to be typing a lot more, and I was just like, okay, I need to go ergonomic. And so I made that shift. At the same time, I was becoming a part of this. It's just different when you work with a team all over the place. It's like
Yeah.
you have to shift.
Mhm.
And as I was trying to describe what was happening to me, everyone was like, yep, I went through that too. It's like you're an arm of an octopus that you don't even know yeah. And interestingly enough, I decided to shift back after Philip had his stroke and we were at the hospital and we were in rehab, and then we went to a hotel, and I just realized, like, I'm going to be using other people's computers, and this is a hard time to make this shift. Like, everything was like this, and I went, in the middle of this, I'm going to shift back to retraining myself to do QWERTY. Like, I don't type so much that I need to be so ergonomic, and it's probably more important for me to be able to use anybody's computer because I don't know where I'll be. And yeah, so I'm capable of that. So that's what I'm kind of taking into account with the calendar. It's like there's a curve. And sometimes I think it's worth it just to shake off the unconscious ways that we're conditioned that we don't even know by what we've been doing. But I'm not entirely convinced yet that the 13 cal isn't just another thing that was like, hey, let's do it this way.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, the lunar calendar is based on the moon, but like, what is the moon? We don't know what the moon is. So I was relieved to hear it wasn't a lunar calendar, but obviously it correlates more closely with it. I'm a little confused because it seems like the zodiac divides the year into 12. And I know that the 13 cow, don't they recognize like there's a third, or not a third, a 13th astrological sign? Was it you
Yeah.
guys that told me that? I
Yeah.
think you told me that. I don't think there's anyone else that have heard it.
That's why I've always struggled with knowing that there were 13 signs for about 5 or 6 years now.
Oh, really?
Knowing that I have distanced myself from those who do readings on the 12 signs, because it's like I can't trust it, because I know that there's 13.
And so that means there's actually 13, like the sun does its, what does it do? It doesn't do an orbit. What does it do that it's,
We orbit the sun.
right. Thank you. But what is it that marks going from Aries to Taurus? Or
The change in the position of the planet in association to the sun. So think of spring equinox.
yeah,
My year begins on spring equinox because that's when things are growing. And as we're having this conversation, what I'm thinking is that if it is a 13-month calendar, is based on the feminine, because the feminine, when we were all cycling, is approximately 28 days, which followed the moon. And
You
so
also know that in the past, like these things, the cycles were actually tracked by a lot of families, especially the northern families of Europe, and that women all had their cycles at the same time.
yeah, yeah. And that can still happen. Well, I think it probably happens less now because we're not in our bodies.
And that's exactly right. We become disconnected from nature, and things get out of sync.
So how did the whoever made the 12 astrological signs, what did they do the same thing that the Gregorian did, where they just took that 13th one and kind of divided it out into the 12? Like, how do they have 12 when there's 13? And yet
That's a really good question.
Then they
When
talk
did
about
that
it.
start? I remember hearing from Jason Brashears that the 12 zodiac signs, that never showed up until like 400 or 500 AD. That there's no record of it prior to that.
which causes me to be curious as to what was going on at that point in time.
Well, the Bible was compiled and canonized in the 400s.
Council of Nicaea.
Uh-huh.
The 12 disciples, blah, all the.
12 tribes of Judah.
But what do they gain by making it 12 instead of 13? Like, why does that?
It creates an offset, and this is the thing, is that there's always like a distortion of truth.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, there's Pisces. Oh yeah, no, you could be Libra. Oh yeah, no, you could be. So there's the truth, but then there's the distortion, and that is what creates what I call an offset from nature.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so we're just a little bit not quite right.
Well, and 10 days offset. Like right out of the gate, we're 10 days offset. They literally just took the whole timeline and they're like, let's just delete these 10 days. So instead of it always being a Sunday on this, and now it's a Thursday or whatever. I don't know.
Think of it like the changing from standard time to whatever daylight savings time.
Yeah, we're always
it's
up.
the same idea, right? And here in Alberta, a few years ago, we had to have a referendum to ask to have just standard time. Well, this year, the provincial government has said, oh yeah, by the way, come November, we won't be shifting time. And then they put out some kind of information showing what our day in time is going to look like. And it's going to be, if we follow this clock thing, it's going to be dark for pretty late, sun won't be coming up until like 9:30, 10 a.m. and then going down at, 4-ish, 5-ish, whatever. So there will be a lot of dark. And I hazard to guess that there will be a lot of pushback from people on that because I'm going to work in the dark, I'm coming home in the dark. And yet they're being reoriented to what the sun is doing. It's not the time on the clock
Right.
that's important for me. It's what is the sun doing?
Right.
Is the
Mhm.
sun up? Yep. Where is it in the sky? Oh, it's about here. That means my day is about half complete. And when it starts to get low, my brain, my body senses the change in light, and I start to collapse. I start to be very done. And if I turn on artificial light, it really impacts me. It really impacts me.
Hmm.
Like I can turn on the lights here that I have in the living room and be very jazzed up as though I had like 30 cups of coffee, exhausted.
Mhm.
Turn them off and I'm, oh, the pressure's done. I get good. So I think this is where, people, as Paul has said, we're so distanced from nature and how we interact with our environment so much that it's the my Fitbit says, my Apple Watch says it's lunchtime. I don't feel hungry, but it's lunchtime, so I better go do that now.
Yeah, that's another big lie.
Which,
Three square meals a day.
right.
I'd like a rectangle instead, thanks.
Yeah. Oh man,
Or
pizza.
maybe a circle.
Triangles. Pizza.
Perfect.
And if you have the whole thing, it's a well-rounded meal.
There you go. So
I can't claim that. That was actually Chuck E. Cheese in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
they had a commercial. They had a commercial for it.
So they just did away with one of the. Did they do away with an astrological sign, or they just created the astrology? Didn't you say that it was someone like NASA or something that announced that there is a 13th?
Oh yeah. That was a couple weeks ago, I think, or maybe about a month ago.
Oh,
They came out with an official statement saying, "Oh yeah, we were wrong this whole time. Sorry." This is the thing, right? When the truth becomes something that they are not able to refute, they have to give in. But there's always a distortion somewhere
Yes.
along the line to change it up, right? It's kind of like with this whole Fauci thing. It's what I call packaged disclosure.
Yep.
It's like we're not learning anything new from what we knew in 2016, 2017. We're just now seeing, as the events have played out and the data, the charts are actually showing the excess mortality being 45 degrees, 45 offset from the sigma, right? Sigma, again, going back to statistics, if it's outside of 3, the likelihood of it being natural goes down. If it's outside of 5, it's deliberate. It's at 45.
And is that the same? Is that quoting the same thing that the life insurance people were saying? Like, and I think this was for a certain time period, so it might be, but like the was it the second and third, or third and fourth quarter of 2021? After a certain thing rolled out, mortality went up 40%, and they were saying that 10% is like a huge red flag.
Mm-hmm.
That's talking about the percentage of it's not talking about the sigma, but it sounds like those kind of actually, it's different units measuring the same thing.
In the past, when there's been a 1% adverse reaction to
Yes.
vaccines, they take it
Yeah,
off the market.
Right.
1%
Like 3 events
adverse
or something.
reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
People were dropping dead in the office
mm-hmm.
or within the first week, but it doesn't count because you're not considered vaccinated until 2 weeks after the second.
Right. And I don't know if you heard, but in Britain, there was a man who passed away within it was like 2 or 3 months, and it was proven that it was the vaccine. And the family went ahead and tried to take the companies to account in court, and the judge dismissed the case because, you ready?
Probably
He
not.
consented to it, so it was ruled as a suicide.
So then the insurance wouldn't have to pay out.
Correct.
They're all suicides.
Yeah. And I kind of figured before it even happened, I kind of figured that that might occur. Why? Because I was so despondent towards humanity that I remember saying to myself in the first weeks as it was rolling out and people were rolling up their sleeves, I was like, we tried to tell them, technically, this is suicide. I remember thinking that.
Hmm.
And then when it was ruled by that British judge, I was like, holy shit, there it is. And that's a precedent.
Now in the US, they're like, we never told you you had to do it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yes, you fucking did.
Yeah, well,
Uh-huh.
you it's okay if you don't get it, but you just won't be able to get paid for
You
anything
can't feed your
anymore.
kids. And
Yeah.
oh, by the way, here's the president saying, I've had it with you. You know, this is going to be a miserable winter for you. It's an epidemic of the unvaccinated. So it's like, no, you don't have to get it, but you can be actually you do have to get it.
Well, and it's like too with professional associations. The government may not say, thou Zoa mustest gettest this pokest.
Focused.
The government didn't say that, but my association has borderline suggested that, well, maybe you should, you know, if you want to keep your
License.
status, you want to keep your licensure, you want to keep your ability to write a receipt with a 5-digit code on it that an insurance company will say, yes, I will accept that.
Every time, this is not new either. Every time a government wants to do something, all they have to do is have control over the financial institutions. Because when they have control over the financial institutions, over the currency, they can tell any business they want to comply with whatever they would like to have happen, so that the downstream commerce is automatically complying with a corporate policy. That way it's consensual. Like the playbook is very, very clear. What happens, unfortunately, is that these events happen so far apart from each other that in usually about 2 or 3 generations, so that no one remembers. How did that go down? And typically speaking, they can infiltrate an education system soon enough after an event like that they can reset the story to fit their needs. And it just happens about once every 80 to 120 years without fail somewhere.
I think that's why they went after the seniors first.
Yeah.
My mom was alive during that time, and she was adamant that no, I am not getting this vaccine. It has fetal cells in there. That's against my religion. You're just trying to kill me. Blah blah blah. And she did this. You know, I was very glad for her, and yet other folks, like my children, couldn't bridge the gap, as it were, of this just doesn't make sense. This is moving way too fast. Governments do not move this fast unless they have this pre-planned.
Right.
Just wait, please. Just wait. Wait a couple of years. I can help you with. It's a virus. I know how to deal with a virus. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Let's do this thing. Nope.
And I really like how Ian puts it too, where he said, you know, whenever there is a health crisis, the priority for society should be to protect health.
What?
And that
Is
what
it the
occurred.
main focus to be what's said on the media?
Yeah, yeah. And that's what he was saying, was that the focus was protect the system. Oh, we don't want to have our nurses be overwhelmed. Oh, we can't have a pandemic. It's going to disrupt the system. We're not going to be able to handle it all. Was it Dr. Cruz? I think he said if they actually cared, they would just tell people go get some sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the positions I took with my children of, where is the good quality water and the clean air and the clean soil, and why didn't they gave us money to get through this, but where is the money for the organic food? Where is the money for healthy beef? How about giving us money so we can go see counselors and psychologists so we can heal our traumas and our relationships? People got to had the opportunity of really getting to know their children, and they didn't like it. When is school starting again? Get rid of little Johnny and Susie. They couldn't drag them off to a dozen different events and activities. They had to stay home. Mind you, that also put these children and people into a position where if they were in abusive situations,
Right.
they really got it.
Yeah.
So it was, multifaceted endpoints.
Oh, yeah. So multi. I mean, they've got a narrative for every single one of us. It's just like, oh, if you don't buy that, then how about the truth freedom industry? Something you said reminded me of something I read last night that is not good news. It seems like I bring on some of the crappy stuff sometimes, but here it is. In Australia, this is another Bill Gates associated endeavor. There is a plan to vaccinate 5,000 wild penguins.
Yep. Twice.
Catch them. Yes. So torture and microchip forever.
Because they want to know how the vaccine worked for them.
They don't. Like, what gives them
consent of the governed? But that's how they do that.
It's funny. Wayne Peters is, of course, citizen journalist, has been exposing the corruption within Canada and even given the receipts of when it started 50 years ago. Whenever there is a lot of disruption in the media, you see the videos, the violence, the division, especially regarding the migrant crises that have been perpetuated for the last 10, 15 years. He puts hashtag return to sender on all of them, right? He doesn't do anything. He doesn't comment. He just put hashtag return to sender. Audrey Lynn, what you just said, whenever I see something, wherever someone is, especially within the alt media, they call it, whenever they say something, oh, this is terrible, how could this happen? Why is the government, not doing anything about it? Why are these people so corrupt? By the consent of the governed. I just say that. I don't do anything else. And I don't even capitalize the first word. It's a sad reality, but there's a reason why the founding fathers of America put it in the Declaration of Independence as one of the self-evident truths in the same fucking sentence as life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In the same sentence. By the consent of the governed. And that it is the right of the people, meaning that it is the only right thing to do. Rights are not, we have this idea that rights are something that are we get because we can demand it, and therefore it exists. No, the word right is referencing it's the right thing to do. Is when the government works against you, you abolish it. That's your right, meaning it is the right thing to do. And if you don't want to do that, that's okay, but quit your bitching. It's like I was told from the get-go, because I stopped voting as soon as I realized what was going on, and that was my first vote. I went and voted, and then I was watching it play out, and I'm just like, that was pointless. Just doing the math. So then I stopped. And then people told me for decades that I didn't have a right to complain because I didn't vote. And I'm like, hold up. No. You don't have a right to complain. The self-evident truths, the law shows me that you, electorate, do not have the right to complain. Why? Because you wanted this. A vote in a corrupt system is a vote for a corrupt system. I have the right to complain because I didn't bring this upon us. It's like there's a meme where they usually put there's a porn site called Pornhub, and it's got a specific branding like black and orange. And I've seen thumbnails that they create where it's got politicians signing something on their big desk, and they have the branding above it, and they're saying, look at how such and such a politician is fucking a country. And I remember this was years ago when the elections came around and people were voting. I did the same thing. I got the thumbnail and I got the branding and I positioned it and made my own meme. And instead of a picture of a politician writing something on his desk, I put a picture of a lineup of people to a voting booth. Oh, look at all the people fucking their country. Because that's how it works. And that's not my opinion. That is a self-evident truth. That's why it was put in the Declaration of Independence. And that's why my sympathy for Americans goes down every single day they bitch and complain. It's because, wait a minute, you say you're proud of America, but you don't do the very first thing that Americans are supposed to do. The only right thing that Americans are supposed to do to prevent the evil from continuing. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do anything about it.
It strikes me that the thing that you're saying is the same. It's the thing that the people that are saying if you don't vote, they think they're saying the same thing. If you don't vote, then you can't complain. They're going, you didn't do your part, in a sense, and you're saying, hey, grow up, take responsibility. I mean, I don't personally know how to abolish a government, so it's not like a one-person job.
Yes, it is.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, it is. Because if one person doesn't do their steps, one person is only a part of the aggregate, a part of the collective of one person's. It's like one person doesn't change their identifiers. Does that change the system? Does it affect, how does it affect the system? If one, because we're all just one. I choose to go pull weeds and make them into food and medicine. I'm just one woman, but I tell you about it. And maybe you get inspired to go pull weeds and make food and medicine. Mm-hmm. Or maybe Cara does, or maybe Maureen does, or but I'm just one woman. And it spreads like a virus,
Mhm.
like a contagion.
Yeah, you won't be able to do it if you maintain the language of slaves.
Exactly.
Did you know that in this book here, it very, very specifically states that there are two languages in every nation that gets formed. There's the language of the slaves, and there's the language of the free. The moment you stop speaking the language of the slaves, you have abolished the government in your own world, in your own reality. Like, think of it this way. When people pay me privately, it's not just me that's outside of the system.
Right.
Now it's the other as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when I remember when Maureen made her first transaction. I think she was one of the first of the Dragon Riders to do it, other than Denise. When she did it, I literally did a happy dance in front of my computer. Why? Because I got another one. I got another one. Look at that. There went $400 or whatever it was. I don't remember. There went $400 out of the hands of our adversary. They were not able to leverage that $400. And the saying that I've been using for the last few years is, you know, it's like we have this mentality that, you know, we have to vote our way out of this thing, right? We need to vote better people, right? Just vote better people into these positions. And it's like, nah, you know what?
Better people would go into this system.
Well, and exactly, who of the in a virtuous world would in pursuit of virtue would put their name on a ballot is beyond me. But the distinction that I make is, no, the last people that we should be entrusting our freedom with is an outside source. It is only a free people that can build a free nation.
And that's one individual at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So you are making a difference, Zoa,
Mhm.
simply by changing your thought, by releasing the old ways of seeing yourself, by using a different brave profile for each
Mhm.
activity. You are that one that makes the difference.
By using a different device to exchange equity, you are automatically, and by device, I don't necessarily even mean a computer or a phone. By using a different means of exchange, you are automatically freed. Simply because you're doing the same activity, it's just a different means. That's why the idea that we all have to use the same system is absolutely abhorrent to the natural law. That's like saying all of the monkeys should share their food the same way that blue jays do. You know, it's like, what? No, we're not all going to do things the same way. We're all going to find different ways to do things. The thing that we really have to do is build what we want and find other people who share our same values and continue, spread it forward, go do it. And guess what? The community that's on the east side of Saskatchewan, that's as far east as I went toured. The community that's on the far side of Saskatchewan, like it's Saskatchewan. It's like, it's flat. You can look for the joke is that you can watch your dog run away for days. Right? Because it just keeps on going. So they have a completely different gestalt. So of course the way they bring governance to the land is going to be different than, you know, look at where we are. We're Rocky Mountain House. We're an hour away from the mountains, half an hour away from the foothills. Like, it's a completely different environment. We're not going to be governing the land the same way at all. But guess what? We can still talk to each other. We can still interact with each other. And in fact, there are going to be times where we don't have the land that can produce the resources that another community can. And so the way they govern their community is going to be advantageous for a community that can't govern their land the same way. Imagine what would occur if people had the mentality that you could collaborate between jurisdictions.
What planet are you from?
But think of it. We do govern in between jurisdictions because
100%.
here it's going to have 4 feet of snow and really cold. Can't grow much.
Yeah.
But where Maureen is, she can.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be lovely to be able to exchange with that jurisdiction from October till April, May. That's how I see that.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a distinction you just shed light on for me, which is I mean, I can feel that I am abolishing the government in my field, in my communication to some degree. My communication is still contaminated. But
Evolving.
huh?
Evolving.
Yes, evolving. So the fact that the government is still operating is not, I mean, it is the point, but it's not the point. Like, that doesn't mean that I haven't abolished it.
Where is the government?
Yeah, exactly.
I used to say, if something important was occurring, someone would show up at my door and tell me. Well, the census occurred and someone showed up at my door several times. It wasn't important. The important part was my learning of who am I? And this individual couldn't show me where I was required to participate in their game. So where's the government? How does the government affect you right here in this moment?
It's kind of like
Right.
Canada.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it doesn't really exist.
Exactly. How it affects me is when I go to the gas pump or the diesel pump and prices have leapt up, totally out of my control. That's how.
And that's what I'm saying. That's the distinction that I'm hearing from you guys, is that the fact that you go to the gas pump and the money has gone up, the cost has gone up, does not mean that you did not abolish the government.
Exactly. That is a business transaction that is out of my control. There's no bureaucrat at the pump telling me, no, you can't get diesel, even though that's what your vehicle requires. You have to get gas. Where is the government? Where is Canada? Where is the United States? Where is Michigan? Where is the Twin Cities?
Where
See,
is the Twin Cities?
It's these
I haven't
imaginary
seen it
lines that we all agree to
Yeah.
without recognizing what that means.
Again, it's the associations that only exist in the marketplace.
Mhm.
This is I was taking a note here. We have to remember where life occurs, right? We have life itself, right? It's and we know that life is determined, a quality of life is determined by language. But life occurs only in our relationships. If you don't have relationships, you don't have a life. Oh no, I live like a hermit. Okay, well then you have a relationship with the rest of humanity that means you define your relationships, you associate with other people very little. So that's how life occurs for you. Your life occurs in your relation. If you're a hermit, you probably have a good relationship with the side of a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
If
Or a device.
Yep, people have relationships with money. People have relationships with their music. People have relationships. This is where life occurs. Well, how are relationships governed?
Mm.
Nobody tells me I can or cannot meet someone for coffee. No one has
Oh.
governance over that relationship.
Well, they tried.
Yeah, of
They
course.
succeeded for a while. I look at my
The-
cat often. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to.
Yeah,
I'd been
I'll
jumping
finish.
in.
I'll finish up real quick, and then I do want to hear about your cat because I'm interested. Your life is governed when it comes right down to it. If relationships are where life occurs, then your life is governed by your observance of association. And to the degree that you observe your freedom of association, you govern your relationships. You
Hash-
don't have to associate, hash that, you don't have to associate with the government.
Do you think you
You
could
don't
say
have-
that again? Just because.
Yeah, I think I probably could because I took notes.
Good.
Your life is governed by your observance or unobservance of your freedom of association.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not exercising freedom in your association, that's also self-governed as well. It's kind of like inaction, like indecision is a decision. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Inaction is also an action. Well, your freedom of association is present at all times. If you are not observing it, well, then you are governing your relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And to the degree that you observe your freedom of association, you self-govern stronger relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that relationship does not serve me. I'm going to unassociate from it. When I found out what the banking system was and what it, and more specifically what it wasn't, it only took me 4 months to find out what Canada was and wasn't. And that's when I made the commitment that I was going to disassociate from Canada. I'm not a part of it. And I don't live in it. I live in here. Okay, now I want to hear about your cat.
My cat has this amazing life. And I can't, it's just, they're similar. Like you go to the gas pump and the price has gone up. I can't say that she's not impacted by some things that happen with the government or that are, but for the most part, she doesn't even know it exists.
How would she be impacted by the government?
The food that's allowed to be sold.
Yeah, but that's your choice to buy it.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not buying that food anymore, but like it's, just like you look at the raw milk and the raw whatever, it's like there are, you have to work harder to get that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know that it exists. And then other people think, oh, it exists, but it's bad. So I'm just saying there are things, I was reading last night about vaccines for animals. There are things in the air and the water. I'm just saying it's, but she is not clouded with those things in her mind or her consciousness.
Yeah.
She's just living her life. She's following the sun. She's taking her self time in all the different places that she does that. And then she shows up and it's like, it's people time. It's food time. So, I mean, and I learned a lot from my cat before that it's just like what matters?
I used to have a guinea pig. No, I used to steward a guinea pig. her name was Amelia. And this one time, I thought to myself, oh, poor Amelia. She's all alone because her partner had passed. And oh, woe is she. And I got the ethereal, poof. No, you want to be like poor Amelia. She has a great place to live. Like at that point in time, she basically had a bedroom to herself, a small bedroom to herself, free run of the apartment. She got as organic food as I could grow. She couldn't eat enough of it. Her habitat was cleaned 2 or 3 times a week. All she had, what she chose to do was squeak at me because I chose to be manipulated by this very cute sound. And I would come running with Romaine.
You'd come running with what?
Romaine.
Ah,
So to live like Amelia, huh, I would love to live like Amelia. Have someone make food for me that I loved and gave me nutritious benefit. To have a home where I didn't have to worry about cleaning it, or all of those things that I was looking down upon my stewarded pet when she had a better life than I do.
yeah.
So it's that mind shift of what's important, as you say with your cat. And to live more like that. Where is the government?
Consider the lilies.
Mm-hmm.
They just sit there and be beautiful. They don't have to toil.
Follow the sun.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's the sunflowers follow the sun.
Oh, that's me. Speaking of which, I'm going to go and enjoy some more weeds.
Oh yeah, this was great, and this went an hour longer than I even thought. This is great. We didn't even touch a chart. I love it. I like this new format. It's not really
And
new.
part of the reason that we didn't touch a chart, one factor in it, is that we, in my book, touched them really well yesterday. We went, for me at least, it was deep on charts, and then I started going, how do you actually do this? How do you actually, like...
Well, and I think until such time as the consolidation ends, and there's some actual movement in the market, it's kind of moot. Oh, it went up.
There's not,
down. It's not wee and wee.
Yeah. Look, it went up and down within the same range that it went up and down for the past 7 months.
Yeah.
I'm also feeling liberated, Paul, from something you've been sharing a little more about cash. And I've felt confused because, Catherine Austin Fitts says cash, do cash.
Yeah.
And somehow I don't. And, and then it's so easy to attribute to that. Like I'm just lazy, or I'm just too convenient to do it the other way, or whatever. And I feel like you actually provided some substance of maybe why I'm not running to that. So after the conversation today, I'm actually thinking of converting the thing. I thought I had to save some cash, have this much in cash so that if things, and it's like, well, it's losing value every day. So how do you don't put everything in metals, because then every time, like if you need to, like you say, you make a payment, you go change things, but you don't go and necessarily like sell silver to pay that bill. Is that where you're doing the crypto? It's like I still don't understand the...
Yeah, I would not sell metals unless it was higher, for sure. And
because of the premium, and also because of the potential of it to keep going.
Right. And while the cryptos go down, there's a portion that I keep in US dollars, because I don't want to hold something that's going down in value against the dollar. But then, when we see that bull pattern come back again, then it's time to switch it and turn it into an asset that goes up in value. And recognizing that, yeah, sure, the US dollar is definitely going to go down. The diversification is what protects you in the long run. And the dollar, over time, is deliberately designed and engineered to go down in value by its very nature. The last thing they can have is a nation using a monetary system where people's life force energy has more purchasing power year over year. That would be detrimental to the mortgage industry.
Mm-hmm.
People would actually pay off their mortgages.
Oh, that was like the 40s and 50s back then when people were able to do it in 10 to 15 years. We can't have that again.
Yeah.
So when you are switching your money to the bridge to pay a bill, you're switching it from,
Whatever form of equity is currently in the trust, for whatever form of equity the recipient needs.
so the forms that you're keeping it in the trust are metals and crypto.
It's diversified, yeah.
It is, okay. But when you go to pay a bill, what are you converting? You're not selling metals.
If metals are high, I would do that.
Okay.
I would do that. But when metals are on a downtrend, I would want to wait until they're back on an uptrend.
Right. And does the whole factor of the premium weigh much into your thinking, or does?
Not at this point, simply because like I haven't bought new metals since like 2017, 18.
Okay.
So for me, the premiums are not that important because it's like the distance from then is what, like 125%. So
Yeah.
what's yeah, so that, yeah, no, it but that's on a long-term thing, right? If I was concerned about premiums, it would be because I was doing short-term trading. And if I was doing short-term trading, you can bet your boots I'm going to be using EFTs so that I don't have to pay premiums. I would use contracts. If I wanted short-term gains from the price action of precious metals, I wouldn't be using precious metals. I'd be using contracts.
Okay.
Because the premium on silver when you're running on a contract is about 2 cents an ounce. Because you're just paying the difference between the buy and a sell price that the exchange lists. You're not paying premiums on spot. You're paying a commission on a contract. But that's a short-term strategy. I mean, you could do it long-term as well. But if you're concerned about premiums on short-term trades where the price action is only 12% and 7% is going to get chewed up by premiums, you shouldn't have bought it.
So when you're saying silver is on sale, you're not going out and buying, like I didn't realize that you haven't bought it since 2017, but if I had bought it at that time, I probably wouldn't be buying now either. For those of us that are just like going, oh, I see, this is important, we should do this. So do you have money that you're holding in fiat somewhere other than a bank, somewhere other than, like it's in the trust, but it's not in a bank? Is that what's
Correct.
in your
Well, it's fiat in the sense that it's a stable coin. So it's pegged to the fiat.
And
When it's in the form of in a form that stays consistent to the dollar, it is in a stable coin.
okay. And so that's what you're converting to pay a bill. You're going to the stable coin, taking enough of that out, putting that into the prepaid credit card.
I'm bridging. Yeah, I'm bridging the stable coin
Okay.
across the bridge into fiat that
Fiat.
is received by the vendor.
Okay.
And for private clients now, they contact my dealer, my bullion dealer.
All right.
So
So
they
in a
don't-
way, you are still buying metals. You're just buying. You're not going and buying them, but you're getting paid by some people in metals.
Sure,
So when silver is on sale right now, you're getting some of that, like
that's a good way to think about it.
fresh. Your store in metals is growing for the equity that you are reciprocating, something like.
Treat the bullion dealer like the bridge it's supposed to be. But let the other stand on the other side of the bridge.
Doesn't the stable coin lose value the same as the current fiat currency that it's attached to or
Yeah,
associated
and that's why you diversify.
with? Okay. So again, you
And
just keep enough in that to handle things. So
The
that you're not-
the market has ebbs and flows where you'll notice tech stocks going up while something is going like real estate's going down or something like that. I'm just coming up with different examples. So a wise investor doesn't have all his eggs in one basket. And you draw from the equity that has improved. You don't draw from equity that has devalued while you've held it.
Right. Buy high, sell low. What could go wrong? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It's like we did a co-working.
Yeah,
today.
pretty much. Eh?
We just
2
did a
hours,
co-working on
32 minutes.
Tuesday. Yeah.